doing, Chef Rabbit?
Good.
Thanks for coming by today.
No problemo.
So here on People, we want to just express how everybody has their own story and give people an outlet to, speak their truth and just tell whatever they can. So first, who is Chef Rabbit?
I am a 26-year-old Black chef. That's a good question. I don't know who Chef Rabbit is. I'm a chef. I've been cooking or in the food industry for 10 years, since I was 16. I'm from Long Beach, California. Yeah.
So let me rephrase the question. So who to the world is Chef Rabbit? Who do you think your perception of Chef Rabbit is?
A chef. I honestly don't even know how to answer that either. I don't really know what people's perception is of me.
Yeah. So who does Chef Rabbit want to be?
I want to be a private chef that travels the world, helping people learn the importance of nutrients and keeping their bodies, in the right conditions to, survive every day. What are the vitamins that you need to be taking every day, as far as your sources of food? Where are you getting that from? I think a lot of Black people don't understand, we have to eat nutrients every day. Our mac and cheese, fried chicken, yes, it's great for maybe once a year, but other than that, we need to really step up our game with transitioning to nutritious food. Is very important because people lose their lives in their 30s, 40s, 50s, which is very young, just because they're not eating right.
So, are there any hobbies outside of food?
Nope. That's a thing that I've been telling my friends about lately. I have zero hobbies out of cooking and creating. I think I would like to, acquire more hobbies, more artistic things or avenues that I can do to help enhance my presentation or help enhance the colors of my plate. Yeah.
So, who was Chef Rabbit before you became Chef Rabbit? Who?
Well, before I became Chef Rabbit, I wanted to be a lawyer. So, definitely very judgmental, very fact-checking, which I still...
So who was Chef Rabbit before she became Chef Rabbit?
Chef Rabbit is Malika. Malika Bree. And I wanted to be a lawyer before even thinking or even having a urge to be a chef.
So
my whole life,
become a lawyer?
I mean, my whole life I just was I'm going to be a lawyer. That's it. For one, my favorite aunt was a paralegal, and definitely very fact-checking. You can get nothing past her without having to run some facts. That's what it is. But I kind of acquired that for my same characteristics. Not always great, being judgmental and, very harsh and cutthroat. I definitely was not I of course was caring, but I just was more angry back then before I pursued my life's purpose.
So is your purpose your therapy?
Yes, it is. I feel like it's my therapy and my crutch and my vice. It's everything.
Go deeper into that.
My obsession with food is the obsession where I would prefer to create and cook and, you know, of course, try my amazing food all the time. Like, if it comes down to, like, being asked would I like to go to a restaurant or have all of the gourmet ingredients that I need to make something amazing, I would definitely pick that, you know.
Do you believe there's do you believe there's something in your childhood that made you fall in love with food?
My aunt did. My aunt Cleela.
So the same aunt that made you want to be a lawyer
Yeah.
also
So
made you fall in love with food?
my aunt Cleela, she was definitely like very much so a great cook. Like, she knew how to put you know, gourmet ingredients together. Definitely tons of Food Network, Emerald Lagasse, Rachel Ray, you know, Bobby Flay. Just watching them create stuff, and then watching her create it. You know, she definitely was good at that. Like, I had my first turducken when I was like, sheesh, probably like maybe like 6, 7 years old. You know, that's a turkey, chicken, and duck wrapped into one, and she made that herself, and I was like, this is fucking crazy. Like, she's a superhero, or she's like a genius. So yeah.
So did your aunt have a big influence in your childhood?
Yes, I was like obsessed with her. Yeah. Like, as a kid, my passwords were her name. Yeah. Like, I was obsessed with her. I thought she was so cool. I thought she was so caring and giving. I like would beg my mom to stay the night at her house, because I knew like Kalila was gonna let me have fun or let me like just be free, you know, very creative, like just pursue whatever creative urge that I had. She would support that.
So do you feel like maybe cooking was her passion too?
Definitely. Most definitely. Yeah, like I definitely feel like she had a big love for cooking, which you could like tell with just how much she wanted to refine stuff. Like, yes, back then, the food that she was making now to me now is like basic, but back then, like, I just was like, this shit's amazing. Like, you know, just even like making basic rotisserie chickens, like taking the extra step to put different herbs, you know, on your chicken. Where my mom, no offense to my mom, I love my mama, but like she was just doing regular seasoning, like seasoned salt, garlic powder, like basic stuff. Like my aunt was taking it to another level by adding like different herbs and like, you know, just extracting what the earth has to give onto, you know, your food.
So if you look back at your childhood, what would you tell yourself that you know now that you would tell yourself then?
Pretty much to love yourself. I feel like just now at the age of 26, I'm understanding the severity of like loving yourself and how I will, you know, raise my future kids, you know, with the knowledge of like putting yourself first, loving yourself, never feeling like you're not enough, because that just doesn't make any sense. You came here to this earth with a purpose, so whatever you have to offer is that's enough. I think that's definitely what I would tell my younger self.
So it seems like the women in your family are a big part of your journey. So I would wonder if you can divulge in who they were. Your mom, your aunt.
Well, my mom was like very, now that I'm older, I'm understanding that my mom was wiser than, you know, I realized in my teens. She was definitely like more or less cutthroat. That's where I got that from. Like, very like, this is it, you know, don't think about nothing else. Whatever I say is it. Yeah, my mom was very loving. She always put her children first. She always made sure that we were well taken care of before taking care of herself. Yeah. And my aunt, Amina, was always, pretty, doing everything very classy, very clean, very chic, making sure, it's a level of elegance, wherever she lived, always going above and beyond with her interior design, making sure that everything looked really good. That's what I definitely know of. Like, even to this day, how I like to furnish my house is Amina inspired.
So it seems to me like these three women really molded who you are.
Very true. I mean, my mom was 16 when she had me. Kalila was 15, and Amina was, I think, 12 when I was born. 11 or 12. So these are kids having their older sister have a baby, and they're like, well, shit, this is like my little sister. So, I think that whole thing was inevitable. And then my grandmother, was another woman in the house where she worked, made sure that they lived in the best home, in the best neighborhood. Didn't really have much, like low-key still being poor, but made sure that it was in a safe environment.
So, I mean, I know a little more, but I would hope you could tell, what are the state of these women now?
My aunt passed away in, I want to say 2007.
Which aunt is that?
Kalila. My aunt Kalila passed away in 2007. My mom passed away in 2011. My aunt Mina is still alive. She lives in California. Yeah.
So, I mean, with your aunt and mother passing, do you think that had more to do with their influence on you? Do you think that kind of pushed more influence, or did it take away?
I think it definitely pushed more influence to where I probably do a little too much just for the fact of I want to appease them as an ancestor. Mm-hmm. They didn't have this opportunity to do, A, B, and C. So here I am doing it for them and making sure that, I'm getting stuff accomplished, just I'm sure that they would have wanted to while they was here.
Is it hard to appease someone that's not here?
Very true.
Because that seems like it's very difficult.
I mean, yes. It's just kind of it feels like an embodiment where it's here I am kind of unknowingly fulfilling their lively desires that they want to do.
Mm. So I noticed we talked a lot about women, but what about some men in your life? What men did you grow up with?
I grew up with my Uncle Roy, my Aunt Amina's husband. I grew up with my pop-pop. And I grew up with my younger brother's grandfather. And, my younger brother's dad, Brian, he made a very positive impact on my life. Gave me a very important, not even important, but a feeling of not being without a father. He was my father figure growing up, and still is a definitely big part of my life. Just for encouragement and knowing that somebody of that father stature is there. Yeah.
So what is your view on men from being from the other sex? What's your view on men?
It took a while. For one, my actual dad, he was like in and out, definitely didn't play. I mean, he was there as a kid, but it's like, you know, I feel like that was probably like from the age of 6 until maybe 11, 12. Yeah.
So how do you think that affected you?
Made me like have trust issues. Slightly rebellious as well.
So with all that, what type of people did you search for when you got older? Being the strong women you had around you, the men you had around, what type of people do you surround yourself with now?
I surround myself with people that I can trust, that I know that will, like, have my back when it comes to just life. Yeah.
So I kind of want to dive a little deeper and just talk about let's say your views on life, your views on just the state of life, the state of America, state of where you live. How do you feel about, let's say, people your age? How do you feel about your peers around you?
I definitely feel like the peers around me, especially like the ones that I've graduated with, because that's like kind of like what it resonates in my mind with. We're definitely accomplishing a lot. Like, we're accomplishing more than I can like really. We're accomplishing more than the generation before us. Just because I feel like we have a little bit more of a hustle mentality. I feel like a lot of people that I've that was in my graduating class, majority of us we have businesses, we have like, acknowledgments on a grander scale. So I definitely think that we're hard workers.
So, and also with your upbringing, what's your relationship life like?
My relationship is very good. I have my fiance that I've been with for almost 10 years. We met when I was 17, and yeah, he's been with me through the ups and downs and happies and not so happies and the laughs and the everything.
Yeah. So, since you have a happy relationship, what is some, help you with, what's some advice you would give people, or how do you have that healthy relationship? How are you happy?
Well,
what makes you happy?
My advice for people that are in relationships is definitely like understand like everything is a phase in life. If you really love this person, care for this person, you're going to, at the end of the day, remember that you love this person, remember that you don't ever want to hurt this person mentally or physically. And, just like always try to better yourself. People are not perfect, so every day, if you guys do get into a disagreement, just be like, we're going to grow from this. If it's worth growing from, if it's too toxic, then you got to get out of there. But you'll know the difference between toxic and, just working out the kinks.
And lastly, for our first interview, I just want to ask, what are your views on, a higher power or a religion? How do you guide your life?
My mom was raised by a Jehovah's Witness and an atheist. So her interpretation of a higher power was that there's a God, You don't necessarily have to be in a religion for God to love you, for Him to care for you to love Him, or you care for Him. Definitely, I believe in prayer. Just giving thanks, and having a actual relationship, like talking. Like give thanks. Hey, just as if you're kind of talking to yourself, but you're talking to, the Most High.
So talking to yourself is talking to the Most High, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are God.
So lastly, I would like you to, if you can you share with me an experience you just remember as like a great moment in your life or just a beautiful time?
A great moment in my life, or a great time, or like a joyous time. I think my my brain's not all the way working, but what I'm thinking of right now is that the manifestation of living in a loft and having a home, that makes me think of happy thoughts, because it's that actually I manifested into reality.
The accomplishment.
Exactly, the accomplishment. I live in the middle of downtown. Beautiful. It's a beautiful downtown, and I have a huge loft, and I have a dog, and I have somebody who loves me. So that makes me happy.
Can you recall a time where you went through some just strain, a pivotal point in your life where maybe you felt, defeated, and if you can tell us how you went from that point to where you are now, or if that point brought you to where you are now?
Feeling defeated, I would probably have to say when my mom passed. It was well, fuck, how do you gather your cards after that? How do you maneuver after something so tragic happening? It was a week before my 18th birthday, and I honestly am very thankful for not even being in the same headspace as I was when it first happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you know anything pivotal that was able to get you out of that point? Or if you can give anyone that might go through something like that, how did you become the beautiful person you are now?
I give a lot of thanks to my significant other, and going to therapy. Therapy helped tremendously. Not only did it help tremendously, I was able to make a connection with my therapist where I knew that she genuinely cared. That's my big thing. If you don't genuinely care, I'd be so over it.
Mm-hmm.
But my therapist was a very great lady. Is a very great lady. She's in Los Angeles. And going to therapy, my significant other would come with me to therapy, and she would kind of coach us on the things to look out for, and when a person is right, when they need to bow out and just be I'm wrong for A, B, and C. So I definitely appreciate all the wisdom she's instilled in us.
Thank you. I really appreciate you sitting talking with me.
No problem.
Lastly, I would just if you could leave some words for the world, what would you say?
I definitely would say be kinder to each other. Give it the second thought to say something kind to someone when you want to say something mean. Just take forth the extra step to be I probably shouldn't say this, because We don't know what people are going through. Every day people are on the brink of taking their lives. So like just be kind to one another and take care of the earth. It's very important that we take care of the earth so we can have a place to stay, and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren, because it would be devastating if, you know, the world ended and they had to be here during that time, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you again. I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
All right.